mainstream Jedi project. Or Star Wars project, I mean. Sorry.
Well, the Jedi should have been used. The Jedi shouldn't have gotten any story.
They should have been referenced, but not be the main focal point.
Been used as kind of cannon fodder for the Sith to face off against.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how the Sith has been treated in the regular Star Wars movies. So they need to, what Disney hasn't learned, is they need to take the focus away from the Jedi. They keep giving the Jedi focus. And the big mistake I think that they make is we had the entire prequels to see what the Jedi did wrong.
Yeah.
And we saw it. And
yeah, we don't need to see it again in the Acolyte.
And, like, we don't need it expanded upon because we know the corruption. If you look at Count Dooku's point of view...
I mean, the Clone Wars animated series, when Ahsoka got framed for something she didn't do. That was...
And Clone Wars...
Yeah.
Perfect.
That was messed up.
Well, guys, you guys ready to start Man of Steel?
I'm ready. Are we going to do a countdown? I have it set up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Set on whenever the play is. All right, guys. Welcome to the watch party, guys. We're going to watch Man of Steel. This is our... Besides the regular Superman movie, which we'll be seeing in literally a week's time, this is our last live-action movie for this marathon. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty exciting. I already have a pretty definitive opinion on this movie, and no matter how many times I watched this movie came out in 2013. It came out the same year Iron Man 3 did. I have never liked this movie. Like,
wow.
Like a lot of people, I love Henry Cavill, and I liked Henry Cavill's performance, and I liked certain things about the movie, but this was a movie where after the Dark Knight trilogy had come out, after Christopher Nolan did such a good job making Batman grounded and everything else, and a lot of people were so looking forward to seeing a Superman that fit into this world, right? As a kid, other than like Smallville and animated stuff, I just wasn't jiving or vibing with Superman. And this movie, I remember I liked some of the action scenes, but I think the thing that puts me off in this movie, and I've talked about it with many people multiple times, is the ending. Is Henry Cavill is brilliantly cast to be Superman, and that's great. And this has some elements of good origin to it, like seeing Krypton a little bit more. But there's a couple issues I see with this movie. One, even though they introduced him later in Batman vs. Superman, he was horribly cast. Lex Luthor should have been in this first movie. That's one thing I have an issue with. But then the other thing I have an issue with is just in general, while there are some great moments with here, the way they portray Clark in this movie and Superman just is not what I believe Superman to be. And I know that Zack wanted to make his own version, and he wanted to do something different, but when you step into the comic book world and people are always going to have their own lens, you need to respect the source material and respect what comes. It's great that they introduce these darker, grittier tones and everything, but still respect the source material. And know that, like, from the jump, if we knew we were leading towards this grittier version of Superman, they should have made that more clear. Zack Snyder wants to, if you go and watch, we'll call it the Snyder trilogy, right? Because even though Zack Snyder introduces all these characters, if you watch Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, right?
Mm-hmm. And what about Batman versus Superman?
Yeah, that's why I said Dawn of Justice, which is...
Oh, yeah, I forgot that's also what it's called. I forgot.
So basically, those three movies, even though Batman appears in two of those movies, the whole story is focused on Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the trilogy of those three movies, even though I do like the Snyder Cut for what it is, there are some good elements to it, he constantly wants Zack's vision as a director is to try and convince Superman that he's this great hero.
Mm-hmm.
and that he's, meant to be this beacon of hope. But then they also kind of lean so heavily into the Jesus angle and like him being a god, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he misses the essence of Superman because even though, man, one thing that bothers me about Man of Steel is they always drive home when talking about when they make the Superman suit. They drive home about Clark's. Well, I'm gonna start the countdown in a minute, real quick. 3, 2, 1. Everyone ready? All right. Because we'll continue because it takes a minute to load it up. Oh crap! I gotta restart the thing. It was from the last time I watched it. It wasn't at the beginning of the movie. But one of the things with this movie, I feel.
Oh my god, hold on. Sorry to interrupt. They're playing the new Superman trailer right now for me.
Yeah, had to. Oh, they're playing it.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that already.
Yeah.
It was good.
I pressed play and then it's playing the new Superman trailer.
Yeah, it's doing a new ad. This is actually a new television ad that it seems like I have not seen yet.
What I love about, don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill was a great Superman, but he wasn't a good Clark, and I think that's just because Zack Snyder didn't try to write Clark Kent,
Yeah.
the nerdy news reporter, and that's what I really love about David's portrayal is that he's the perfect nerdy news reporter.
I feel for me, yeah, that's a big thing, and we didn't see enough of the. Oh, someone say something.
I mean, it's just like how you try to find the perfect Spider-Man. You need to find the perfect Spider-Man, but also the perfect Peter Parker. And that's the same thing you need to do for Superman.
That's a good balance. I also just don't love, even when you're watching the trailers for this new movie and all the stuff that's happening, I don't like. I remember when they marketed Man of Steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
They keep pointing the scene of Lois and Clark when they meet in Clark's in handcuffs, right?
Yeah.
And they keep talking about. He says the line to her, "It's not an S. It means hope," right?
Mm-hmm.
But Man of Steel, if you really think about it, Man of Steel is not a hopeful movie for a Superman origin because this version of Superman broke the number one. Everyone always freaks out about killing Zod, but there's one other thing. Hey, Jake, there's one other thing that's bigger that happens that nobody ever talks about, and it basically starts Dawn of Justice because it's that Clark. Even though he kills Zod, he did not do his job. He did in his origin as Superman. He did not.
He didn't really save people.
He did not save Metropolis. Metropolis got destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
and it created Bruce to be mad at Clark for even knowing him, which was pretty well established, I think. But I feel like when you're watching a Superman and Batman conflict, you should see both sides of the conflict. And when you look at Dawn of Justice, I immediately Superman bad guy. Like there's no way around it where they didn't write it in a way where why do I care about Clark? Like I like him, but that doesn't give me enough of a reason to like what he's doing. Like,
And correct me if I'm wrong. Amy Adams plays Lois in this version.
yes.
Okay. I like Amy Adams as an actress.
I like the actress. Horrible Lois Lane casting.
Yeah, I bet.
I think she's a great actress. It's not midnight yet. For us, Jake says it's not July yet for us yet. Oh, but it is for you, Chosen? All right. Yeah. No, there's things I like about this movie, but I'm curious to see if there's the high highs are still good for me or if everything just comes into the low lows. Because there's good casting in this movie. The storytelling just sucks. And I hate the relationship with Clark and his dad in this movie. The way they portray not his Kryptonian dad, but Jonathan, right? I love Russell Crowe. I do like how we get to see all these different creatures on Krypton. And I do love the science fiction vibe of what Krypton looks like. Who returned in the Flash from the Underground?
Uh, uh, Z- uh, Zod.
Oh, yeah. Michael Shannon is a good Zod, but I like original Zod from Superman 2. Welcome, guys. That's true, Chosen. Yeah, I'm excited, Jake. I agree, Connor. It's because of Zack Snyder's vision.
My thing is that it's not necessarily a bad style. It just doesn't fit with Superman. To have everything so darkly colored.
I feel he was just obsessed with, because all his record is dark and gritty things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think when they decide to do a whole universe and give it to one guy, they fail. Because they picked someone that only clearly has one vision. For me, even watching this Superman movie, even though it's a Superman movie, what he does with Superman, even though Superman isn't a martial artist, you can tell that he just wanted to do Dark Knight Returns Batman from the comics. And he pushes that even further in Dawn of Justice. with Batman committing actual murder. I'm not sure, Underground. Yeah, Jake, are you going to be Are you going to be live once the episodes drop right away tomorrow? He can't handle cheese. That's the problem, Kenna. Oh, do you have stuff going on tomorrow, Jake? Tomorrow night? That makes sense, Jake. One thing I did notice about this movie that's kind of cool is I was just thinking about it from the comics angle of the way they did it, but seeing Krypton the way that they portrayed in this movie, I understand why when Superman comes back to life in the Snyder Cut, why he had to have the black suit, because they showed Jor-El's outfit here is very reminiscent under his Kryptonian like stuff. You can see the symbol. Did you notice that, Kenna?
Yes.
Definitely inspired by that. Yeah, man, it's pretty great, Cecile. Pretty soon. I'm excited, Cecile. Michael Shannon is a great actor. Oh, cool, Cecile. It's 11:36 for us. Me either, Underground. I like the Zod. I forgot how good this fight between Zod and Jarrell is.
Yeah, and I like how Zod uh doesn't get sent to the Phantom Zone right away.
Yeah, it's a different change in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Forgot about that part. I was so pissed off about that. The iconic meme-worthy scene.
Oh yeah, I remember this scene right here when she dies.
Yeah. Sorry, haven't been talking. I've been working on a character reveal for one of my role play chats. Oh, that's cool, Zarkus. Put his armor locked away. That is interesting, Jake. Oh, you don't like them making Clark a fisherman, Kenna? Krypton is destroyed. Yeah, I get it. You think there's a big coincidence with that, Jake? It's interesting he's not saying anything right now. I guarantee you, when they watched this scene, they cast Hugh Jackman, not Hugh Jackman, Henry Cavill as the Calverine just from watching this scene. Yeah, that's true. Uh, yeah, that's a good scene, kind of. The wheels found him. It's not good. Pete Ross, huh?
Yeah, they yeah, they made a bad cast choice of Pete Ross.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Wait, hold on. Didn't he play in Superman and Lois?
To who?
Uh, uh, Lana's ex-husband.
Maybe.
Oh, damn! I just,
Wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, I just recognized from the face. He looked familiar.
Yeah, that's awesome, Zirkus. Jackass. Oh, dang. And now Lois made it. Yeah, it's a weird thing for sure, kind of. I like the way you word so far. She's good in this movie. Is she just worse in the other two?
Wow, wow, wow! Look who! Wow, wow, wow! Look who it is! Um, um, hey, Joe, do you watch uh Law and Order?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Yeah, guess who made an appearance?
Yeah.
Yeah, the the OG detective
Yep.
himself.
Interesting, Jake. Definitely Kenna. That's interesting, Jake. I didn't know that was announced. How do you feel about that, Jake? Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, she's a big actress, so it makes sense that she would be no other different thing. No worries, Kenna. Oh, that's good. Do you think it's gonna have a good cast, Jake? Oh, you mean the fact that he was gonna be in the movie and then they canceled it?
Yeah. Yeah. I hate that, honestly.
Yeah, it was really more along the lines of like the script was being made and people didn't like it. Good so far, Zarkus. We're on our last live action movie right now. We're watching Man of Steel. Then we're gonna do animated movies soon. Welcome to the stream, guys. How are you doing? Thing snapped the camera out with his batteries. Oh, that's pretty cool, Jake. Definitely, Jake. It's kind of crazy. Lawrence Fishburne, Perry White. Oh, that's a good idea. That's funny, Underground. Yeah, man, but it's just copyright sucks, Cecile. Polar bear. Speculations of secret. Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah, she looks great, Zarkus. Wait, who's doing this? Go do what you gotta do, Jake. That is interesting, Jake. It's a good take on Underground. It's funny you're making ramen, Kenna, because it made me think of you as a K-pop girl. I'll say this about Man of Steel, guys. I really do like if Zack Snyder would have had better writers and a better vision for Superman and understand Superman. I really do like the Man of Steel Superman suit. I just wish Superman was treated better as a character.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know what? My biggest complaint is I really like how he did the Kryptonians. Like, I like the setup of the world, and I really liked how he wrote Superman's biological parents. He just did really bad for his adoptive parents.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking, I've seen so many people talk about the suit. I was like, I really like this design for the Superman suit. One thing I also was thinking, I kind of wish, like, even though this is already an origin story, I was going to say it towards the beginning of the movie, but I didn't think of it in the moment. I wish we would have got an origin film of just, like, Clark's parents and, like, just Krypton in general, because I think it would have been so cool to see. Like, watching the beginning of this movie, I know he's an older actor, but I would have liked to see kind of Jor-El's origins.
What really rubs me the wrong way about how Snyder writes his adoptive parents, still haven't seen Martha yet. And first of all, John... Oh, no, that's a lie. We did see Martha. Martha helped him at school. I forgot. But I really don't like how John was like, yeah, Clark, you should have let those kids drown in the bus. Like, I think that's so out of character and whack. Because even though I understand that they want to hide his powers so he doesn't get taken away, John Kent would always let Clark do what he believes is right, if that means has to risk showing his powers to save innocent people. Then I don't think he should have cared.
Yeah. I do like the flight scenes in this movie. The flying is cool. As I didn't know, since this movie came out in 2013, you can see, you look at the scenes from the trailers for the new Superman movie, you can tell James Gunn really fine-tuned the idea of how Superman flies. Like, just looking at this movie, you're like, oh, wow. Like, there's shots that seem blurry, and, like, Zach shoots good visuals, but some of it just, I don't know. Some of it just seems a little off. It still looks pretty good. Isn't that crazy? Frozen and Iron Man 3. You know what's really sad about this scene of him flying is he looks so happy and it looks like he's such a hopeful Superman. I wish the rest of this movie would be this way.
Yeah, it's really a shame that it isn't, because in the beginning, they even said the whole point of him being sent to Earth was like be helpful, be the reason to make the place better.
Yep.
So it's just weird that he kind of forgot that midway through the movie.
Yeah, you can see the balance, like you can see potential, and then they drop it.
I mean, again, it really comes down to Man of Steel is not objectively a bad movie. It's just not good at telling a Superman story.
It's a good film by itself. Like, it has good acting and good stuff. But what Brandon said something earlier in the stream on Rewatch, it lacks characterization. When you look at, and I don't want to make this point because I don't want to start a war with the Snyder fandom, because I'm sure they'll come into this stream. But I'm going to grab a snack from the kitchen real quick. I'm going to pause it for a minute. I really do feel like Snyder makes bad characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I
Like,
hate this part right here that's coming up.
Yeah, the tornado.
Yeah.
well, you
I
have to-
know, it's so stupid.
yeah, I hate that.
It's so stupid.
Like, he doesn't, not only does he not understand Superman, but like the generalization of like characterization just doesn't work. Like, he doesn't understand like the writing of how you write these characters, and not just from a Superman perspective, from like a storytelling perspective. I don't feel like he understands like what it means to write a story.
See, I hate how John is like, no, Superman, don't show your powers. It's just so dumb. Like, him dying by this tornado is not emotionally impactful at all.
Because he was convinced.
Unlike in the Christopher Reeves version where he simply dies of a heart attack.
Yeah, and even
I feel like that was more sad than this.
Yeah.
And there's too many.
I mean-
there's too many time skips going on.
Yeah. I mean, they did the same thing as in Smallville. How Jonathan Kent
Told you not to run with this. And what did you do? You
Mhm.
let Woodburn just shotgun it.
guys in
The publishers want me to sue you.
because of a
Whoa, just like
Mhm.
that.
heart attack.
What happened to your leads?
They didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
The story is smoke.
Or perhaps it just didn't get the traction.
I like this actor.
2 weeks
What I-
leave, no pay.
The boss to Lois Lane. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, you like Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah, I like him. He's cool.
I've always said he's one of the highlights of these movies because he gets some good stuff in Dawn of Justice. Underground's asking if you've seen Smallville.
Oh, sorry, I was away. If I've seen Smallville?
Yes,
No, I have not watched it.
it's a great show.
I bet it is. There's so many things that I need to watch. I plan on watching it. It's just gonna be probably a long time.
It takes you long, but there's a lot of seasons. There's like 10 seasons.
I think what I'm gonna do is that I'll watch Smallville after James Gunn's Superman.
After you see Superman?
Mm-hmm.
Reporter came back here. She's a friend. Don't worry.
Oh, about John's death? That's okay. That's not a spoiler for me.
It's too bad the way that you see because one of the advantages to Smallville is that it expands upon like a potential Justice League, but they really dropped the ball on some of the portrayals of villains in that show. Like their version of Deathstroke is horrendous.
I don't really understand why they would even put Deathstroke in there in the first place.
They had a Justice League in the show.
Oh, I see.
Like Aquaman's in it, Green Arrow's in it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. I forgot.
Because Alan Richardson's in it. And then I believe it was Port Allen as well. Impulse.
Yeah. He's in season 4.
And was Cyborg also in there?
Yeah. I forgot what season he was in.
I can't remember. I just remember the way that they botched Doomsday and Darkseid. Oh, that was so bad.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started with how they played out Darkseid. That was not cool, honestly.
The ship appears to have inserted itself into a lunar synchronous orbit, though I have no idea why.
You tried communicating with it?
Well, they haven't responded as of yet.
I'm just speculating. But I think whoever's at the helm of that thing is looking to make a dramatic entrance.
Does anybody know where we keep the toner cartridges? What's going on? It's all over the news. You gotta see this.
Rock's the fake Andy.
Yeah. Coming.
That's stupid how he weighed Joe's hand and made him like, oh, you don't save me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just stupid. I know. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I really don't think having Zod be the villain in the first Superman movie is inherently a bad idea. I think the problem is that it should have been Zod and Lex Luthor, not just Zod.
Yeah, I think you could have had both. I do think, and I will be interested to see if they actually do this, because you know that even though the DCU is going to jump around with different characters, different stories, I think we will get a Superman trilogy. I think we're getting Superman, and then maybe Superman 2 will be called something different, and then we'll get a Superman 3, right?
Yeah.
I do think in Superman 3 that Zod will be part of Lex will be in all the movies, but I think Zod will be eventually the main antagonist at some point. And I kind of like the idea of if they introduce Zod or tease Zod in any of these movies, making us build him up more.
Mhm.
I come from a world far from yours.
I think the thing I like about what I think would have made so much better about Lex Luthor, even though he's been in every iteration of Superman that we've seen so far, and I'm sure that's why they want to do Zod, to do something different at the time. But people forget is think of how many times we've had Joker in Batman movies, right?
Yeah.
It's very important to the DNA of the character.
Mhm.
And with Superman, you know, there's all seeing Superman do good in this movie. If you wanted to tell a more hopeful story, they still want to do a dark and gritty story. You could do what they're doing with Superman right now, which is really showing that Lex Luthor doesn't like that this hero is getting more publicity than he is, right?
Mhm.
And he'd be jealous of this godlike character. And definitely, if I would have directed Man of Steel, I definitely wouldn't have had
Watch this world suffer.
had Jesse Eisenberg. I would have definitely had someone like I've always said in the Snyderverse, we should have Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor.
Mm.
That would have just been an amazing casting.
Mm.
And he was young enough where it was doable. Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad looks like Lex Luthor. Don't do that, Underground.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I had to make that jump. I had to.
I will say, well, we've had different people score Superman movies. I really do like, even though I'll always think the John Williams theme will always be known as iconic, and I'm glad they're bringing a version back of it for Superman. I do like Hans Zimmer's score for this version of Superman. Like, especially in the scene where Clark is running towards Martha and he's coming home, you really get that really nice. That's what sucks, man. Even the music is more hopeful than dark and gritty. And the blueprint is there. Like, watching this movie, you see that Henry Cavill wanted to play hopeful Superman, and Zack Snyder's vision is what failed. You know what I mean, Kenna?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you see the blueprint, right? You see the things, and
Yeah.
just that Zack couldn't deliver.
I just hate so many. I hate all the flashbacks that they're doing. They should have just got it in the beginning. He's young, and then you see him grown up for the rest of the movie. They keep cutting back and forth with Clark Kent being young and old, and it's
Right?
It's just-
Even this movie, even though it doesn't really get really confirmed unless this movie's successful, this movie. The thing you got to remember that people keep forgetting is Man of Steel. They tried in the Dark Knight trilogy. There was a time, I think it was Christopher Nolan that turned it down, but they were trying to push Christian Bale joining up with Henry Cavill. Before they even did the Ben Affleck thing,
Mhm.
really pushing because I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe Christopher Nolan has a writing credit in this movie.
Yeah,
He was-
I really would have loved to see Henry Cavill Superman with Christian Bale Batman. I think that would have been a better dynamic than it was with Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do like Ben Affleck's Batman for what they do with it, but I just wish they would have made him just like Batman's more hopeful. I wish Batman, I was just like Superman's more hopeful. I wish they would have had a better balance of like, I wish they would have skipped over the Dark Knight Returns BS and got a better Batman feel.
Mm.
But I feel like with this version of Superman,
Oh, did you hear that everybody is talking about it. James Gunn said that Batman's not going to have trunks in the superhero costume.
it's interesting that he said that because he kind of insinuated otherwise as well. Like, kind of playing with the audience on it.
Maybe he's just trying to trick people.
I think so.
All right. You've got our attention.
He doesn't have to have trunks.
I actually no, he doesn't have to have it, but I really do like the look on them.
I do too. I just want a good suit.
Yeah, I want like blue and gray.
Yep.
At least, even if we don't get the trunks, I'm pretty sure we'll get at least like the bright yellow utility belt.
All I care about is I want the white eyes now that we've seen Wolverine have them.
Oh, yeah.
I want a costume with the white eyes because I don't think we'll ever get them with Pattinson, but I think we could with the DCU Batman. Especially, I think would make the fantastical element of Batman more interesting.
Because I do like Robert Pattinson's like eye makeup, but I do think for James Gunn Batman, it needs to be all white.
Yeah, I agree.
In my world.
Which section are we watching?
Oh, asking what part of the movie we're on?
Oh, well, we're at different parts. I think Joey's a little bit behind because he paused it.
So
But
John,
right now I'm at Lois Lane in interviewing Superman in handcuffs in the FBI.
Oh, you're there? Okay. Yeah. Jonathan just died in the tornado, and Lois, turned down doing her story, and now I'm at the part where Clark and Martha are having a heart-to-heart. Silver came in pretending to be you underground, by the way. Oh, Joe, did you hear about the Punisher isn't going to be a badass in this coming up season of Born Again? What do you mean he's not going to be a badass? What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. I saw Chosen's IG story about it.
Where's he getting the information? Because Chosen's not a reliable scooper.
Um,
I do like Martha and Jonathan Kent moments. Yeah, they are pretty nice. Sometimes. I didn't see that he put that on his Instagram. Unpopular opinion, but do you think Man of Steel could have shown how Superman arrives as before he lives? Yeah, I think
That's what I was complaining about earlier. We didn't see baby Clark with John and Martha. It went immediately straight to him being a teenager and an adult, back and forth, and I don't like that editing style.
What about? But where's he getting his information? Because there was no new scoop about Punisher that was announced today. I was looking through all the major trades There was no articles about him. And I'm sorry, as much as I
feel like it would be weird to not have Punisher be, Punisher in the season 2 of Daredevil Born Again when they just did that brutal end credit scene of him escaping.
he's going to be in the Punisher special before Born Again. It was at the same time. And he's going to be in Spider-Man now. So, I'll be honest, sometimes when Chosen posts things, I feel like he's just being a hater because some of the stuff that he claims to know things about, has information. If I don't hear it from a trade that actually is believable, I don't know if I can trust him because sometimes he just says stuff to say stuff. Like, what did he say in his story, Underground?
I just saw the I just saw the story that he made earlier.
I'm going to look at that later. That does not make sense. Skipping how Superman met his adopted parents more than Jonathan feels off from character perspective. Agreed, Brandon. Wow, you're friends with Tyrone Magnus? You exposed me for being a true fan? That's hilarious.
Megamind was a great movie.
Yeah, mine.
I and my fellow.
Yeah, did you see he just said that he was friends with Tyrone Magnus? And he says that him and Tyrone Magnus are Snyder fans and they're going to expose me for not liking Snyder stuff? That's hilarious.
I don't know how they're gonna expose you when you've already been open about it.
Yeah, I don't know why he would say that he's. Looking for her. Hour and 16 minutes left. No bad.
What I will say, what I do like about this movie, even though it's 2 hours long, it doesn't feel like it's slowly paced.
Good.
And now it's within your power to save.
The only issue I have pacing wise with this movie, and it's more of a personal preference for me, is I don't
Genetic template for every being yet to be born is encoded.
I don't think that the final fights
the registry.
for a satisfying conclusion of everything for a Superman movie, I think that they, and you'll see when you get to the point of I think they drag a little too long. And they're not that interesting.
Yeah.
I asked Chosen if he can send me the article. Okay.
To answer your question, Brandon, yes, I really did like the opening of the battle on Krypton. I really think, I'll give credit to Zack Snyder for Man of Steel, is that I think he did really good with the Kryptonian lore. I just don't like what he did with Clark's adopted parents.
They should have had,
and the Earth storyline in general.
They should have had two different directors for this movie. Like they could have done like or like two different projects, right? Let Zack do a whole movie about Krypton and explore like the origins of everything, and then Zack, and then what a better director do with better writing, handle an actual Superman story, you know? Like that would have been better, I think. Because I like the darker, grittier side of Krypton. I wish they brought the writers from Superman Returns and Smallville workers with Christopher Man of Steel to understand Clark's life. That would have been great, Brandon.
This may be a hot take, but I really did not like Superman Returns.
I thought it was in the same. It wasn't as good as it could have been.
It had too much going on, and I couldn't keep up with it. And
I think it's better than Superman 3, but it's not saying much.
My thing is that this might be crazy. Christopher Reeve's Superman 3 and 4 were bad movies, don't get me wrong, but at least I could follow the plot with them. Like, I understood what was happening. I could not understand what was happening with Superman Returns.
That's true. I do remember Christopher Nolan wrote the story. He wrote the story, but then someone else clearly handled the characterization because Zack clearly put his own imprint or hired different writers for different things because this comment is making me laugh. Are you actually really friends with Tyrone Magnus Silver?
Yeah, that would be a good show, Brendan. I would watch that too.
I would love that. I cannot believe Silver's trying to be connected to Tyrone Magnus now, one of the most toxic, most ridiculous YouTubers on the planet right now. He says, we're Snyder fans. James Gunn is terrible and you being disrespectful is unnecessary. Disrespectful? Since when is stating my opinion being disrespectful?
Oh my god, Silver is freaking stupid. Just saying.
He's dumb. He has no intelligence, bro.
I really do like Lois Lane and Jor-El interacting. I like how they're teaming up.
Yeah.
I do like that aspect. I think Amy Adams is a good Lois Lane. I just think the romantic connection isn't there as strongly as it has been in the past.
Yeah. She's good for the character. You need that connection to really drive that home, and it gets ruined later.
See, Jor-El just said a perfect line to Superman where he's like, we wanted you to learn how to be human first so you can be the bridge to connect to both people. And then it continues to make him be a god, and that doesn't really connect the people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, like his biological parents are written so well. And the Kryptonian lore is... I really think because I think Zack Snyder is a great director and writer when it comes to like fully sci-fi and fantastical things. But I think the problem with Superman is that he, again, really good with the Kryptonians, just can't stick the landing when it actually comes to humans on Earth.
I don't think Zack Snyder understands emotion. If you look at his movies, Rebel Moon didn't do well. He doesn't understand emotion.
I think when it comes to emotional aspects, he understands, but the problem is that he doesn't. There's no suspension. He just goes straight to the point rather than drawing it out, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah, unpopular opinion, but I do like. Yeah, I like that. I like him in Superman Returns. His version of Jimmy was really good in Superman Returns. I do agree with that, Brandon. As long as you don't talk about Jimmy Olsen and the Snyderverse, I'm happy. I hate that Jimmy Olsen.
I don't even remember him. I have a hard time remembering him.
Out of Batman v Superman, but completely destroy his character.
Yeah.
And honestly, if Clark was a reporter like he's supposed to be in this movie, Jimmy would have been in this movie, and probably should have been. I feel like the problem with Zack Snyder's movies is he tries to do a lot of action and doesn't develop his characters like James Wan did with Aquaman, or Sam Raimi did with Spider-Man. Yeah, and those people really, really understand those things. I feel like James Wan or Sam Raimi directed Man of Steel, we probably would have gotten a movie, develop a story of how Clark Kent becomes Superman and doesn't act like he's Goku. Yeah, that's a good analogy, Brandon. I think since James Gunn has made like 5 big superhero movies and 2 successful shows, he understands Superman movies more than Zack Snyder. Oh, that's true. And also, Brandon, James Gunn is actually a fan of comics and understands them. Does Superman breaking the guy's truck after standing for the waitress look out of character since he is usually optimistic? Oh, it's a little out of character, I would say. Because I always don't think he would do that. And a lot of people agree. I don't think they think he would do that either.
I thought it was the truck scene weird because it just didn't feel like Payback. Unlike the I believe in either Christopher Reeve's Superman, where when he gave up his powers for Lois, he got beaten up by that one dude in the diner, and then once he got his powers back, then he beat him up again in the diner as revenge. I feel like that was better payback than
Yeah.
destroying the semi truck. Because that guy could just get a new truck. It doesn't really affect him.
Yeah. Back closer to Earth now. IHOP. Oh, yeah, that's right. The fight scene on the IHOP is a pretty big deal. Agreed. Superman or Clark destroying the truck randomly Man of Steel reminds me of. Yeah, that's pretty true, Brandon. Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine if Michael Michael Bay directed Superman.
Be a lot of explosions.
I think it would be funny.
Yeah, probably very memey.
Interested in sharing this world.
In another world, Shia LaBeouf is Superman, and Megan Fox is Lois Lane.
Yeah, we'd be seeing Lois Lane's ass a lot.
Oh my god, that was funny. I'm sorry,
Oh.
I had to laugh.
Belly button a lot too. Because that's just his director, so. Really? They're already confirming a Fantastic Four 2, Cecile? Not surprised. It is Marvel after all. What is it called? Second Steps?
They should have never killed him off in uh in Black Adam.
Killed who off?
Uh oh, never mind. Replaced Mark Hamill's wait, no, what the fuck am I saying? This Superman.
Well, dude, the story for that sequel was bad.
Oh damn.
Did you not know that?
Now I do. I mean,
Dude, the previous DC universe was very bad what they were planning. You should see the script for what was going to be Wonder Woman 3, bro.
oh damn.
They were going to have
Bad, huh?
get made into a member of the League of Assassins, where he was going to be brought back again from the dead using the Lazarus Pit.
That's crazy.
Because Patty Jenkins had lost her fucking mind. That's an interesting question, Cecile. I don't know if I have the answer for that one. Would have been interesting. Runaway coward. It's showtime time. Get inside, it's not safe. Thank you, Captain Obvious. It's all good. Underground. Ooh, that's a good question. Do you think Kryptonian Flaw, who fights faster, would win or lose if she fought CW Flash and the Arrow? She's definitely a good fighter, and has her powers would make her a challenge for Oliver. But I'm assuming the Flash probably would have been able to beat her, and the two of them together definitely would. I know what you meant, Underground.
If she bulked up, I think Millie Bobby Brown would have been a better Abby than the girl they got.
Really?
Yeah, that's my take. If she bulks up, I think she could have been great.
Yeah. Cecile, Daredevil season 5 is gonna be epic. Is that what we're calling Daredevil season 2? Is this season 5 of the original show? Oh. Yeah, I think that would definitely happen, Brandon. Yeah, that's true, Cecile. Okay, War of the Worlds. Huh. I was thinking about that, Underground. If you want to do that tomorrow, I'm open to it. Since it is a part of the story. I got a theory question. Why did no one in Metropolis thought about evacuating before Zod and his army showed up? will be engaged similar to Transformers: Dark of the Moon in Chicago? That's a good question, Brandon. I'm not sure I know the answer. I was thinking about it too, but I was like, there's kind of some good things in that movie to kind of compare to. Plus, I gotta really watch it again so that I really can feel what went wrong with Eisenberg's Lex. Because I'm gonna do a Lex with the ranking once I see Superman.
Yeah, I did not like that Lex. I'm sorry to say.
The worst Lex Luthor casting in the history of time.
Yeah, I didn't like that Lex. Just saying.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Brandon. Yeah, he's way more Riddler. They should have done Batman vs. Superman kind of how they do the animated Batman and Superman team up, where you could have Batman and Superman fight at first because the conflict, but they should have had two villains for Superman and Batman to go up against. Instead of doing Doomsday, it should have been Joker and Lex. And Lex should have been played by not Jesse Eisenberg, U.S. Eisenberg. Lex should have been played by Bryan Cranston. We'll do it tomorrow. We can watch because that next movie is long. So we have to watch the longer cut of it. So we understand everything. We should do the ultimate cut, which is like 3 hours, and I don't feel like staying up that long tonight. So we'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, Underground. It is 3 hours. I think Nicholas Hoult. Yeah, I think so too, Kenna. I really feel like everything in this Superman movie is going to be the best version of everyone. Because James Gunn just really understood what he was doing. Thank you, Colonel. I got my good answer to my question. Maybe everyone on Earth expected the city of Metropolis to be attacked like when Battle in New York happened in Avengers? Possibly. It's okay, Brandon. I thought I'd be tired after this movie, but I might actually have time to actually get my videos done tonight and get a head start for tomorrow. Because I'm feeling pretty awake.
Yeah, I'm not tired either. That's why I suggested the double feature.
Yeah.
But I'm okay for waiting for it tomorrow because I do understand 3 hours.
I'll my videos and then we'll watch the next movie tomorrow because I can look at the total runtime, but I feel like the ultimate cut is 3 hours. I think.
What's my problem with Zack Snyder as a director? He's always doing. Wait, I have a cut. I have a cut of it, and I'm like, the first time it released,
better movie. When it doesn't. To be fair, though, unlike the Snyder cut, which obviously I know there is different versions of Zack Snyder's Justice League. The other thing, one thing I will say, for better or worse, at least Dawn of Justice, actually had a reason for having a longer cut. Where Justice League, the movies are exactly the same except for different designs for characters and a few things towards the end of the movie. You know,
Yeah, I understand.
where Dawn of Justice actually does feel like one of the things I like about Dawn of Justice. Watch the theatrical cut and then watch the ultimate cut. Those gaps missing, it still isn't an amazing movie, but the ultimate cut is actually a pretty dang good movie when you understand the whole story.
Mhm.
Like it still has problems because Eisenberg is not Lex Luthor,
Mhm.
but his plan feels more fleshed out, and you understand it better.
Yeah, I get that, but still, like, it just like when you release them. I'm not against like director's cut of versions of films. I actually do like it, but my problem with Zack Snyder specifically is that he uses it as an excuse to try to prove that his movies aren't bad. Because when he first releases them, people hate on it, right? And he's like, "Guys, wait for my cut." And then they release the cut, and it's still like, okay, but the movie's still mediocre. Like
And
you,
he still
like
hasn't
he relies on his cuts too much. That's
he
my
still hasn't
problem.
released his original versions of Rebel Moon are bad, and he still hasn't even released his actual full cuts of Rebel Moon. He keeps saying, "Oh no, don't worry, my longer cuts are better. It's a better movie. Netflix forced my hand on this one. They wanted this cut of the movie." I'm like, no, not better. I'll run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. But no, it's like it's dumb to me because I feel it doesn't make it better. I feel it just makes it worse. To be honest, it just doesn't make sense to me. I noticed something. Let's see what I missed in the chat. What do you think of the heroes Wonder Woman, Aquaman? Where do you think the heroes Wonder Woman and Aquaman are during Man of Steel? That's a good question. Um, let's see. Timeline wise, Aquaman would probably be still out with his dad somewhere. And then Wonder Woman's probably still out in hiding after everything that happened with Steve Trevor. You think so, Underground, huh? Definitely.
Working with tech. So now they're increasingly Earth's mass, running the atmosphere with particulates. The terraform,
What's that?
planetary.
Yeah, for sure. I just remembered from the Flash movie, Barry Allen and Batman were also on Metropolis the day of Black Zero event. Yeah. One thing I thought about that's kind of making Zack Snyder look dumb in this movie is all this destruction and chaos that's going on. And I get this is meant to be an origin film, but the fact that they skipped around this movie of Clark's age, right? Just like what we're seeing with the new Superman movie. I think it's pretty obvious that, and maybe Zack Snyder didn't think about this, but even though they probably weren't cast yet, the involvement of the other metahumans, like they clearly were out there at this time. If Clark's where he is at.
Oh, Joy, I just want to point out Zod and Clark are fighting right now, and they exploded a truck that said LexCorp on it. So Lex Luthor is here, but not really.
Yeah, I know there was references to it. Do you think MCU Peter, with his costume, could have been in the Battle of New York when Chitauri invasion and Avengers? No, because Peter was still really young. He didn't have his costume yet during the Battle of New York. Once he had his first.
I don't think he was even bitten by the radioactive spider yet.
Yeah. Oh, you heard about that as a fan theory? Interesting. Maybe a little bit more. Oh, that's not good, Cecile. I have plot hole with Man of Steel. If Martian Manhunter was General all this time, why didn't he help? Yeah, that's a big issue. I was gonna say. See, he thought about that metahumans exist at this time, but he doesn't do anything with the fact that the General is Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter should be helping Superman. That makes sense, Underground. I agree with that, Brandon. That's a big plot hole. if there was an official explanation for why John hid his identity like director Hank Henshaw in Supergirl, then I would understand it. I agree, Brandon. They should have actually explained it.
Oh, so he works at the Daily Planet at the end.
Yep. Just set up the sequel.
It just kind of ruins the point of him being, the nerdy Clark Kent, alter ego, because Lois Lane and Superman are already in a relationship.
I agree.
Lombard, Lane, I want you to meet our new stringer. I want you to show him the ropes. This is Clark Kent. Good luck, kid. Hey, Steve. Nice to meet you, too.
Hi. Lois Lane. Welcome to the planet.
Glad to be here, Lois.
I really hope Bradley Cooper is good as Jor-El, because I honestly have not seen a better portrayal of Jor-El than Russell Crowe. Even though this isn't my favorite Superman movie, I love this Jor-El. I just think Russell Crowe is a great actor. Oh, you got the funeral scene? Yeah, he did great in American Sniper. I love it. I forget that he was in American Sniper. I think he'll be a great Jor-El, however brief his time is. Whoa. Oh, nice. Thoughts? It's not just a rumor, Brandon. It got confirmed last week. Okay, 7 is a good score. watching for the fun of it. All I know or think if that think is the DC extended universe, so no idea what's happening. Okay, I understand, Lucas. Yeah, 6.5 is good.
Yeah, and yeah, and the only part of this movie I did not like was how Jonathan Kent died.
Yeah, I'm close to the end, Brandon. I'm just about to watch some fights soon. But I've seen this movie before, so you can discuss spoilers anyway.
Oh damn! How far are you?
I have about 26 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
Watching this movie, I do have a new take.
A new
I know that everybody doesn't like how Superman breaks Zod's neck, but now seeing the context of the scene, I don't mind it. Because he only did it to save a family that was caught in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And after he did it, he obviously showed some regrets and turmoil about it when he.
That's
So now that I've seen the context of the scene, it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah, I still just feel it's not a Superman thing to do. But I understand that thing. I care more about that Superman didn't save Metropolis. Like that's the thing that I struggle with. Not necessarily that Zod gets killed, but that Metropolis gets so much. The point of Superman is to be able to save everything, and he allows Metropolis to be so destroyed that it causes even more tension from outside cities like Gotham, like with Batman getting involved, as you're going to see in the next movie. Like like when they do the destructive replay in the second movie, it's crazy. Do you think Superman sending General Zod's army and some U.S. soldiers to the Phantom Zone broke his rule to kill and be feared? Yeah, to some degree. Yeah, it would have been nice. Underground. Oh yeah, we definitely will, Kenna. Man of Steel feels more like a mix of Injustice and the Boys theme. Yeah, I agree, Brandon. I like how he used that against. Yeah, I agree with that. Underground. Yeah, I do, Brandon. Yeah, I definitely think Brandon. The main problem with Superman in this movie is he doesn't inspire hope, justice like Clark Reeves, George New Animation Superman, or Tyler Hackman Superman. Agreed, Brandon. Was Clark Strong? I agree with that take, Brandon. I'm close. I got like 7. Let's see, 2. Oh, it's 17 minutes left total, including credits. So it's actually shorter than that. They're having the big fight right now. Who do you think had your favorite portrayal of Zod? I personally really like Terrence. I know a lot of the people will say that they like Michael Shannon as the best version of Zod. I would probably say I like Terrence, probably my favorite. The rest of the original Zod I thought was pretty cool. But Michael Shannon's pretty good too. Okay, Superman just snapped Zod's neck. Yeah, I loved him for Zod. Superman 2 is just, for me, is still my personal favorite Superman movie.
Yeah, Superman 2 is the best.
Yeah, until Superman comes out.
Of course.
Yeah, 3 was trash. Oh, I love this scene. Does Superman crying, Scream, and Man of Steel look sad or ridiculous?
I would say neither.
You said neither?
I don't think it looks ridiculous. And I do think, again, it's like almost there with the emotional impact, but it just doesn't hit the landing, so it's just okay.
Yeah, I would say it's just okay. I don't think it conveys enough emotion for me. It moves kind of quick. Like Zach just wants it over. Oh, we lost Underground?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't even know I opted off.
It's okay. I'm about to be nearly done. Like 2 minutes left, it looks like. They're doing the funeral scene right now, and then you having the memory flashbacks. Now he's gonna get his reporter job. Yeah, you got plenty of time, man.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot that I have to get through.
The nice thing about DC Comics is different storylines and different stuff, and DC very vast with like the DCU. There's lots of different opportunities. Okay, I just finished. I feel like I feel the same way about the movie that I've always felt, but I feel like stronger about my negatives, if that makes sense.
I can see that.
Like, if I'm gonna rate it out of 10, I might go even lower than both you and Kenna for me personally. I said if I'm gonna rate it out of 10, I might go a little lower than even you and Underground went.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with, for me, because I'm rating it as a Superman movie, not just a movie, right?
Yeah.
As a Superman movie, look, Superman 3 is a terrible movie, and I give Superman 3 like a 3 out of 10 or a 2, right?
Mhm.
Because this isn't a bad movie, but it is a bad Superman movie. So I have to give like obviously you want to give like a rating scale, like be like, oh, it's decent, it's average, right? So like, I don't want to be too harsh because I'm trying not to put it too close um to Superman 3, but I'm gonna say out of 10 because 10 is still a big scale. I give it a 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think a
Yeah.
6.
That's good.
Because I have a lot more problems. Like, I like the casting for a lot of the characters, the lack of hope, the lack of emotion. I'm just not down with. I know that there's different versions. Yeah, it can be. Can it just? There's different sort of. When it comes to DC, there's different stuff. Oh, if I was rating Man of Steel after my rewatch, I would give it 5 out of 10. Because Returns at least respected the character. You know, Brandon, I can agree with that. You know, that take when I'm gonna have to think more on it, but I think honestly, when I really think about when I watched it in theaters, I remember visually when I was younger, I watched it, and visuals were enough to get me through a good movie, right? Now that I'm older, people might not like this take. I'm gonna change my previous statement because I was just thinking the whole movie overall and thinking about what are my positives, right? And you know what's crazy? I really only have 2 positives for the movie. Sorry, 3 positives, not 2. I like Amy Adams, Lois Lane. I like Henry Cavill's casting. I like Jarrell. And I guess if I had to pick, I like this version of Zod, but rewatching this movie, and this might be a hot take, I actually like Superman 2 Zod better.
Oh yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, I figured you would be okay with it. Yeah, I'm with Brandon. I mean, even though like the story's all over the place in Superman Returns, when you make a Superman movie, when you think of all the directors that have made good or bad Superman movies, you still want to make sure, or good superhero movies, you still want to make sure that when you're making a Superman movie, you're being respectful to the source material and respecting the characters. I know Superman has different versions. Like, you know, you can make the argument, oh, this is the dark and gritty Superman, this is Injustice Superman. But Zack Snyder doesn't respect this character. And I feel that it's laughable that this stupid fan base of his loves and falls in love with this version of Superman, and they're so brain dead that they know nothing about Superman. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
movie, even as watching the trilogy and knowing the Snyder movie, seeing the final version, even though we didn't get to see like a Justice League 2, thank God, I feel the limits of this universe, and it just isn't that great. And with Clark, it just, there's so many things in this movie that bother me. Like, the pacing's good. One other thing I thought about in this movie, and it's not necessarily a huge nitpick, but it's just what I would have preferred. I think the final fight, Zack should have found a way to use Superman's powers more uniquely in the final fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a respectful opinion. Terrence made Zod creepy and a cool. Yeah, for sure, man. I really feel like if Clark wanted to stop, if he wanted to stop Zod, and it could still be like one thing that, like, the context, I get that he has to stop Zod and Zod has to die, either dying in the Phantom Zone or dying the way he dies, right? But I wish there was a way that you could make it seem like Clark still tried for the good of humanity, right? Like, he helps everything, but I get why they had to go the direction they went. But I wish that he would have I wish they would have introduced Superman's frost breath, and he would have freezed Zod and stopped him from doing.
Oh, yeah, that would have been way better. That would have been way better.
Yeah.
Yep. I do like that they gave us a longer version of Krypton being destroyed. I do wish we could have expanded more on that. Yeah, I just really do not like. I remember when I was talking about rewatching this movie, I remember like there's a reason like I haven't rewatched this movie a lot, because I have such a very big opinion of it, and it's crazy because to me, you can tell even though they don't do enough of the nods with it. You can tell with Man of Steel that when Marvel was pushing out Iron Man 3, because these movies came out very close together, that DC was really trying to, even though this is the first movie introducing their new universe, you can tell they were really trying to push their narrative of like really building in, even though they didn't do a good enough job establishing the other heroes, you can tell they wanted to build their world so badly.
Yeah.
Do you think Man of Steel should ended where Superman starts Zod unconscious and arrests him, locks him up in Amanda Waller's metahuman prison like in Black Adam. Yeah, that would have been good. I think that would have been really cool. Because if Clark would have had frost breath, it doesn't always guarantee that Zod would have like disintegrated into a million pieces or whatever, right? They could have just like put him in some sort of temporary prison after he was frozen. Because unless you're committing to injustice, I just don't want Superman killing. My hopeful Superman is just not that. That's a last resort option for him. And I get that Zach was pushing that last resort option, but Zach doesn't understand Superman as a character enough to really, he didn't consider his other options. He has to stop Zod, but he didn't think about how he would stop him, you know? Like, and it goes with, like, you know, Clark needs, like you said, Kenna, we need to feel that sense of humanity and being a hope within Clark. And we just don't feel that. And
Yeah.
I think that's sad. And I think the thing that really drops this movie low for me is like you said, the adoptive parent stuff is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Just to me, the lack of hopefulness, the lack of everything, just doesn't work. But anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna get some rest and get some videos done in a little bit. My phone needs to charge. But thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too.
See you tomorrow.
We'll be here tomorrow for more. Only time I'm okay with Superman being evil is he's like Red Sun Superman or Injustice Superman. Definitely Brandon. See you tomorrow, guys.
All right, bye-bye.